So when you go back over the Western trip, and I know you did the game Friday, and I know you watched the others, what was your take on why the Leafs weren't scoring?
Well, there's some of what the guys were just talking about, or what you were just talking about here. Is the power play, of course, was not very good. They seem to have spurts where they play okay and play with some energy, but for the most part, their big guys didn't really have the puck as much as they normally might, and then they get nothing, zero, from the bottom half of their lineup. So if you look at it that way, that means your entire offense is built around 4 players. And chances are it's not basketball. You can't, 4 players can't dominate the game. You need more than that, and they didn't get anywhere near enough. The game in LA, I thought they actually played pretty well. I watched the game as a fan. I was in the stands that night, and it's not like it was going to be a dynamic game, but they had at least 3 breakaways. They hit a crossbar. They had plenty of chances. The game in Anaheim was like they were dead asleep. Now, I'm standing right next to the bench in Anaheim, and I was, I texted O about this after the game, but there's no, not that there, I guess not everybody's like me or whatever, but guys talk about your teams, but there's no fire. Everybody just sits there and watches the game till it's their turn to go on the ice. Nobody's angry, nobody's chatting, nobody's there's no energy. It's just kind of like they sit there, watch the game, and then they go and play. And I find that kind of odd.
How do you, I don't even know what to say to that. It's what do you do with that? If the trade deadline's over, they brought in Clifford, who I thought would kind of energize the bench, but that's just a weird thing to watch, I would imagine, Ray, isn't it? It's a desperate time of year. Not desperate, but it's an important time. You would want guys to be somewhat, fiery. I don't know. I wasn't the fieriest guy, but I knew when stuff was important.
Okay, yeah, but so you would come back to the bench, not like you're going to stand up and make a speech, but every once in a while you got, you get into it a little bit with your line mate, or you yell down at the D, hey man, get it on my stick.
Yeah.
Right? There's none of that. And I don't know if that's just the way the benches are today, and maybe I'm watching the Leaf bench closer than everybody else, but I don't see any of it. Guys come in, they get in, they shuffle down the bench, somebody comes behind the door and sits behind the door, and it's just it's really orderly and neat and quiet. And I mean, how do you change it? The personality of the guy is the personality. Right,
then you change some personalities.
Right, which you can't do till the summer.
Right. I'll tell you an interesting story about that, and a player that you would describe that played a very emotionless game a lot of the times was Dustin Penner. And so I was involved in Anaheim in the Cup year in 2007. So what the coach would do is he'd put Dustin Penner on the 4th line with Todd Marchand for the first period, and Todd Marchand would drive him crazy on the bench. He wouldn't stop talking at him. He'd yell in his ear the whole time. He'd drive him absolutely crazy, get him all wound up, and then they'd put him with Getzlaf and Perry. And he'd play great. And it was it took that kind of emotional fire to light the player up, so that's what they did, and it worked.